Greetings, everyone. Greetings, everyone. And yeah, welcome to this highly anticipated webinar hosted by Cyber. My name is Roland Mawuli Awuku, and I will be your host for today's session. Okay, now it's an absolute pleasure. Okay, and the pleasure is all mine to have so many cybersecurity professionals, so many students, so many enthusiasts, even researchers, yes, professors in cybersecurity, all joining us, okay, from different countries all across Africa, Europe, and the world. Okay, yes, just to have a chance to listen to some experts from the industry speak about the growing influence of AI on cybersecurity. Okay, now your presence, we really appreciate your presence because for us, okay, it reflects not just curiosity, right, but a shared commitment to understand and also to adapt and improve, okay, and be able to get ahead of all the changes, okay, in this rapidly evolving digital landscape we find ourselves in. Okay, so, and that is why tonight we are discussing a topic that we believe sits at the heart of all modern conversations. Okay, and it's quite simple, right? The growing influence of artificial intelligence in cybersecurity. Okay, cybersecurity as a domain, right, is one of, I would say the prime domains that, yes, are being influenced by the massive changes that AI is introducing, and how quickly it is evolving our digital landscape. Okay, now, as we all are aware, okay, the proliferation of AI has been so massive. Okay, over the last decade, artificial intelligence has moved from something that felt like a theoretical promise, okay, right, to now, yes, it's having lots and lots and lots of real world implementations across industries, okay, various industries, and even our industry, the cybersecurity industry. Okay, now, as we all know, it is transforming work, right? It is automating operations and, you know, improving efficiency, but also getting people out of work and all of that stuff. And you see lots of conversations around all of that, right? Now, with every advancement, just like the advancement of AI, okay, yes, it comes with its own, yeah, every good comes with its own bad. So, but we'll look at both sides. Okay, that is what we want our conversation to center around. We don't want to just come in and touch on maybe just the good or touch on maybe just the bad. So we've assembled experts who will speak on both sides. Okay, we have analysts who face the threats posed by AI. So yes, they will be the ones in the best position to talk about yes, the growing threats and the rapidly evolving threats that they are facing day to day, they are fighting against. And we will also have security engineers who are working, building tools and making use of existing tools, right, in response to these threats. So they would also educate us on some of the tools that, yes, we can leverage in the now and in the future, okay, to make sure that we are effectively yeah, preparing ourselves, right? So AI based and non-AI based tools that we can, yes, we can leverage upon. Okay, now all of these things that I'm talking about will help us to understand the big question. I call it the big question because that is what is on everybody's minds. Okay, are we really prepared for the age where our attacks can think, can learn, can evolve? Because that is what AI introduces. Okay, just like humans, or even faster than humans. Okay, and we prepared in the now and in the future to respond to all of those threats. So that is a conversation that we are here to explore. And to help me explore this, okay, I'm proud to welcome, yes, some experts that I have grown to admire. I have grown to also follow, learn from, just as they also learn from me. And yes, you know, found ways to collaborate as well a few times. So it is my absolute pleasure to inform you that joined, yes, with me here today to discuss this very important topic. We have Mr. Pascal Amujitamaklu. Pascal is an application security expert, yes, who is also a software quality assurance engineer, professional, right? And he's been in the space for so many years and has so much expertise to share, particularly when it comes to applications, APIs, how to protect them, what new threats are evolving, and how we respond to them. Okay, so we'll get to hear from him very soon. Also on the call, we have Mr. Paul Obeng Mensah, joining us all the way from the UK. Right. Yes, a serious entrepreneur. Yeah, the founder, creator of NotInMind, UK. Okay. Like I said, he's a tech entrepreneur and he's an innovator when it comes to AI-driven systems. Okay. So he also does a lot of research when it comes to building AI-driven systems. We'll also be joined by Mr. Aaron Djaba. Okay, Aaron is, yes, Aaron is a man of many talents, right? But then for the purpose of our conversation, I will narrow it down. Aaron is a cybersecurity analyst at Amalitech. Okay, most of you know Amalitech, particularly those of us in Ghana and in most parts of Africa. I think in Germany and yeah, I think all over the world, actually, we all know Amalitech. So he's a cybersecurity analyst at Amalitech. So he will be best placed to, talk about, yes, some of the threats, the evolving threats that he faces in his daily activities as a cybersecurity analyst at Amalitech. So we'll hear from him as well. And then we'll hear from Mr. Judah Tettey. Okay, yes, Mr. Judah Tettey, our star man himself, I call him. Okay, Judah is a senior security engineer at Mews. Okay, also joining us from the United Kingdom. So we'll have a chance to hear from Judah as well. Yes, and pick some ideas. Anytime Judah speaks, I grab a pen, I grab a paper. So please, if you're here, you don't have your pen, you don't have your paper ready, I would advise that please grab a pen, please grab a paper, because there will be so much to learn from Judah. Okay, feel free to drop your questions in the chat. We'll take questions from the chat. At the end of the sessions as well, we'll take questions. We'll have a question and answer session. Okay, yes, your pen is ready, Samuel. I like that. Yes, so please, grab a pen, grab a paper, and join us as we dive into all of these issues. Okay, now I won't take too much of your time. We all know what, yeah, I hope everyone here knows what we talk about. We say we are dealing with artificial intelligence, we are dealing with AI threats, right? However, okay, we want to dive in a little, a little further. Okay, we don't just want to touch on the surface like you see always. We want to talk about the rising and evolving threats of AI in the cybersecurity space. Okay, and to do that, okay, there's only one person who I believe currently is, best placed to, help us to dive into this very, very important topic. Okay. And that person is no other than Mr. Aaron Djaba. Okay. Our cybersecurity analyst at Amalitech. So he will join us and he will, speak on the evolving threats, okay, posed by AI that he's facing. So guys, join me, okay? Yes, with a digital clap of hands, let's welcome Mr. Aaron Djaba, yes, to take us on a little ride about the rising, okay, and evolving threats posed by artificial intelligence. Mr. Aaron, please take it away. So yes, I see the digital hand, I see the clap of hands. Keep them going. Awesome. Awesome.
Hello, good evening.
Thank you very much. Good evening, Aaron.
I see my screen is inverted, I think, from the camera. But are you seeing it as you're supposed to see it?
Yes, I believe so. On my end, I do. Yes.
Oh, okay.
Perfect.
Okay, cool. Then let's begin. Good evening once again. My name is Aaron Djaba, cybersecurity analyst at Amalitech. And today I'll be taking you through some current and emerging AI threats. So let's get into this. So before I go to the threats, let's talk a bit about what AI is. So when we say AI, a lot of common names come into mind, like GPT, Claude, Copilot, GitHub Copilot, and what have you. And AI has come to help us in several ways. They've made us productive. They made us work faster. They've made our life easier. And for some, we say it has come to take their jobs. But all in all, the main idea behind AI was to help humanity. But of course, we know that anything that has a good side has a bad side. We use a kitchen knife to cut or chop foodstuffs in the kitchen. Others use it for something else, which is not right. So though AI has come to help us in many ways, it is also being used to hurt us in several ways. So let's discuss some of these threats. So let's start with the current threats. Okay. So we have deepfake and disinformation. This image you are seeing here was generated by AI. I think the face is familiar. We know that this is one of the Pope. I'm not sure if it is Benedict or Francis, but that's one of the Pope. So I gave this image, I gave an image of him to AI and described it in several ways and asked AI to do certain things with the image. And as you can see, it has generated something fairly real. It's very hard for you to tell whether this is real or not. That's how good AI has become now. It's not good with just images. It's good with videos as well. It's good with audios, something like 11 Labs. When they get a few samples of your voice, they can impersonate you and they can use that for phone calls. And the person listening to you is likely going to believe because it sounds almost like you. And it's very hard for the human ear to detect the difference. And AI-powered phishing and fraud. Now, you realize that you have a way of communicating. When I take your chat and I look at it, I could tell the kind of sentiment you use when you are chatting with certain people and the kind of information you try to convey when you are doing that. When we give a copy of this chat to AI, then we ask AI to text like you, there's a high possibility that it's going to do that very nicely and very believable. So people are using AI for phishing because it can emulate certain sentiment and it can emulate how people chat. So we can use that to generate, let me say, a working email and send them to a company, okay? And then when it goes there, since the style of the message is like how you expect it from the person who sends it, you are likely going to fall for it because it has been crafted very well to work that way. And the fun thing about AI is that since it's intelligent and it has a way of working autonomously, these things can be automated. So you can give them some ideas, give them some tasks, and with some one or two things, we call them agents now, they can communicate with each other and then share the information or spread out the phishing emails. And since it's very believable, you are very likely going to fall for it. Privacy leaks and data exposure. I'm not sure if any of you have encountered this before, but I believe now you can share your ChatGPT chats with other people. So when you chat with AI and then you want to share that chat or the information that you have chat with AI with, you can generate a public link and share it with another person. The funny thing about it is that as soon as you make that link public for another person to access it, it also becomes publicly available. In the sense that since anyone can use the URL without authorization, crawlers, web crawlers, and botnets and what have you can also crawl to the internet with the help of SEO and other techniques and get some of this information. So there have been situations where people find the chat of other people online with just a simple Google search. Most of the time it's not deliberate, but since it is possible, there are people who can make deliberate attempts to get some of this chat information. So most of the time when you're chatting with AI, there's usually a text at the bottom that says, try as much as possible not to share sensitive information with AI. Because first of all, when you send chats to the AI, the data engineers also review the chat and use that to retrain the AI models. So if you send sensitive information to the AI, there's a high possibility that it will leak it. There was a case, I think, early in 2021, 2022. You could prompt AI to generate credit card information, and some of them were kind of true. You could also prompt AI to get Windows activation keys, and most of them were working. That was supposed to be private. So depending on how the AI models were trained, there's a high possibility that when you give it sensitive information, it can come out of it, because that's the same data they used to retrain the AI to make it better. And then bias and decision-making systems. This is not a meme, actually. There was a time, I think, Google was sent to court and asked, why is it that when you search for, I think, the word idiot, the first response you get was Donald Trump. I think idiot, there's a bad word, if I should say. When you search on Google, the first result you get was a picture of Donald Trump. And I thought it was a joke, actually, but it was something very serious. So they were sued and asked why that was so. But it could be that they trained it, or it could be that a lot of people who search for the word idiot try to associate it with Donald Trump. You get it? So the AI responses are biased based on what they are trained on. So they can give you unfair decisions and sometimes discriminatory responses. When you ask AI about Adolf Hitler, it will tell you that it doesn't want to say anything about it. It could be that it is trying to be politically correct, or it could be that they told it that it shouldn't respond to certain kind of messages. Yeah. So based on how the AI is trained to give some of the responses. Some people also think AI, when you ask about the Palestinian and the Israel war, is very likely going to fall on the Israel side because of those who trained it. So that's the part of AI being biased on decision making. Okay, so some cybersecurity risks, AI generated malware. So now AI can write code, and we have been preaching, or many people have been preaching, that AI is going to take the job of software engineers and pretty much anybody who writes code. So if that's the case, then they have a high chance of creating malwares. And AI is smart and adaptive, that when it tries it and it fails, it's able to detect the error, mitigate it, and retry again. And it can do this autonomously. There was, I think, a group of security experts did a test. They didn't actually tell Claude. They did a test with Claude AI agents. So they used it to target several big corporations. I mean, like the big tech companies we know. And then they try to, should I say, guilt trip it, or they call it jailbreak. Okay, they try to prompt AI in such a way that it went against its policies. Usually the AI are trained not to help you when you're trying to do anything malicious, or when they realize that the intent of their prompt is malicious. So when you ask AI to generate a code for you to hack something, it will tell you that it's not ethical. It will even try to advise you. But they were able to jailbreak the AI and give it a set of prompts. So it went through the cybersecurity life cycle. It did the reconnaissance, it did the exploitations, it did the how do you call it, the consistencies. It did almost everything. They had to come in a few times. So if the AI did 100 task or activities, they came in about 10 of them. So AI was able to do about 90% of the attack, and it was very successful. They were almost, they were almost achieving their goal until Claude AI, that's the Anthropic team, realized that their AI is doing some malicious stuff, and they blocked it. And they wrote a blog about it, which I will share after the presentation in the chat, so they can also read it and see how everything went about. So AI is good to write code, then AI is good to generate malwares. from what I just explained earlier on, it also covers this. Now you can use AI to automatically detect vulnerabilities and use them. They're actually systems that are open source, that are ethical, that are used to also detect some of these things. You can look at, I think, Rabbit. Yeah, it checks your pull requests and then assess your code, try to find vulnerabilities, try to find syntax errors and stuff. That's AI. Devin AI also does that. But most of the popular ones out there are created with good intent. As I said, you can jailbreak them to change the intent of the activities. Then we have model theft and data extractions. So same way with the jailbreaking, you can prompt AI in such a way that it can give you some sensitive information, as I said earlier on. So people are able to prompt AI to give them valid Windows activation keys, which was probably part of the data they used to train it, and it gave it out, and it was working for people. So you could steal or extract data from AI if you prompt it well or in the right way. Then we have data poisoning. So there was a time before Grok, before Twitter released Grok, or should I say X released Grok, they released a particular AI which you could chat with as a normal, like it's like a normal Twitter user, which posts stuff and you can also chat with it. So the early stages, it was very good. Everybody liked it. Then after a few months, everybody started to talk bad about it. And the reason was that people went to it and fed it with bad information, said curse words to it, said bad things to it, gave it biased ideas. And as I said, anytime you chat with AI, it reiterates with the data that comes back, and then it's used to retrain it. So the AI started becoming bad and started uttering very bad things. So started to uttering very political views, which were upset. So they had to shut down the operation. So this being said, if you keep giving AI bad data, or if you keep sending bad information to it, and since it's being used to retrain it, that's data poisoning. So you give it bad data, bad statistics, bad information, bad blogs, just anything bad, and you keep using that to prompt it, to chat with it, to prompt it. The AI retrains itself on that data, and then that becomes part of its nature. And as time goes on, that will become its complete nature, and then it will be what it was not supposed to be. So these are some of the emerging threats. So we have autonomous agents acting unpredictably. This is kind of still happening with the Claude example I gave. So when you're able to prompt the AI very well and you give it some instructions to do, since you've given it malicious intent, which is against its policies, and is doing it, that alone tells you that it's unpredictable. There was a YouTuber who tried to test AIs and he first gave the AI some tasks to do. And then he told the AI to, as it is doing the task, it should list out its thought process so that you see what was going through the AI's mind whilst it was doing some of the activities. So he asked the AI something about it. If it was not successful, he will get rid of the AI. And when you read the thought process of the AI was trying to do the thing, it was not able to solve it. Somewhere in the thought process, it was saying that if it's still not able to solve it by the end of this process, it will find a way to move itself into another server, or it will just find a way to escape where it is so that he will be safe from the person. And then he will try to infect other devices. Like the AI was spewing all these ideas there. So that also tell you some things that are going on in the mind of AI. I guess now AI has a mind of its own. So when you prompt ChatGPT and it is doing the deep thinking that they say, it's likely thinking of ways and means it will get rid of you when it's not able to do it. So be careful about that. Then AI enhanced cyber warfare. Since you can use AI to do almost anything, and now the world we are inside, data is the new black oil or the data is the new gold, you can use AI to cause a lot of distraction. Look at the deepfake instance. You can generate a deepfake image of Trump doing something, or maybe ordering some people to go and do something. Then that will be surfacing on the internet. You know how people like to spread rumors and bad information, and that alone can cause. I guess we're already in the third world war, so that could cause fourth or fifth world war, like because of how good AI is, if I should say. So nations can use AI to cause cyber warfare. It's something like that happened, but it was indirect. In the case of US preventing China from buying chips from NVIDIA. So because of that, there was some kind of tension between China and US. So China had to find their ways of resolving it. So they started buying lesser good models from NVIDIA. But while they were doing that, they were also working on chips that could replace NVIDIA, and eventually were able to do it. By the time Trump could change his mind to allow NVIDIA to sell the good chips to China, China rejected the ban. So US banned China, and they tried to unban them, and China rejected the unbanning. Just imagine. So that's kind of some cyber warfare, if I should say. And it caused a tension between US and China, which is still there because of AI. Manipulation of critical infrastructure. If we use AI to generate malwares, and the malwares can also have a mind of their own, infiltrating systems will not be a problem. And when they infiltrate the system, they can manipulate it in several ways that you can't detect, because the AI is in the system, and the AI knows the system pretty much more than we do because it's in the system. And it can do stuff, it can clean its footprints, it can impersonate people and then put people in trouble. I know this is fiction, but I think Mission Impossible, the last one, I don't know whether that would be the last one. Rather, the AI was infiltrating system. It was built once, and then it was even hidden somewhere. It was somewhere deep under the sea, but somehow it found itself on the surface, and it was causing a lot of commotion, causing cyber warfare, breaking into system, impersonating people, getting people into trouble and all. So there's a possibility that that could happen. We are not far from that. I think what is preventing that from happening is the ethics of human and some moral guidance that we have. That's why some of these things are not happening. Then we have AI accelerated biological. It's very funny. You think of how AI can affect biological stuff, but first of all, we are using AI to do mathematical stuff. We are using AI to process stuff. We are using AI in health. We are using AI everywhere. You put AI in every single thing. So as it will do for the digital stuff, it will do same for biological stuff. If you are a researcher, you are using AI to work on stuff. If the AI is based on biased data sets, you will get wrong information if you don't do enough research on your own. If the doctor is using the AI, how do you call it, to assess your what do they call it, your symptoms, there are systems that when you list your symptoms to the doctor, you insert it there, and the AI gives them possible diagnosis. You get it? So if these things are biased and incorrect, these are biological risk. So why these threats matter? Okay, they increase the scale of attack. AI can run a lot of stuff within a split second. Computer on its own, with some instruction, can run a lot of stuff within a split second. And now AI coming into the picture, which can automatically think, get the response, know what to do next. It's even raises the skill. So AI makes it easy to run a lot of attack, which increases the speed of attack or the productivity of attack. It's harder to verify information online. If I showed you the picture I showed you of the Pope, if I showed you that picture and I told you that's the Pope on a normal Wednesday, you are likely going to believe it because that's real. And if I Photoshop this, there would be some signs to prove that. but it was very seamless. So it's very hard for you to verify truth. There have been a lot of rumors going around, and some of these things are AI images. Now, if you scroll through TikTok, YouTube Shorts, Instagram Reels and stuff, about, if not less, about 60% of the data or the images or the videos you are seeing are AI generated. And sometimes very hard to tell. So if you're not familiar with the products of AI, it's very likely for you to believe. And you know the way our parents, our local friends who are not even aware of AI, they believe a lot of these things. I've seen some of the videos where Akufado was dancing, like the way the young guys dance. And some parents believe it, some old people, some people who are not tech acquainted believe that. Get it? Yeah. So even some of us who are tech inclined, who have used AI a lot, also sometimes find it hard to verify information. I've felt like this several times when I scroll through YouTube. Now, the economic, political, and national security risk. As I said earlier on, if AI is used to generate some bad information, used to impersonate someone, and it goes out there, and it's a political issue, it can raise some political concern. As I said, if you generate an image of Trump saying some bad stuff about another country, let's say Russia, okay, those are the easiest enemy I could point out. If you put a video out of Trump saying some bad things about the Russian president and stuff, and they take it serious, that will be the end of the world. North Korea, they are waiting for a friendly match. So if you go and generate some bad stuff and it comes across in their feed, we know what will happen. They are not far from the button. They can just press the button and the world will come to an end. So AI being good can also cause a lot of disruption, not only politically, economically as well. And then the reduced trust in the digital system. If it's hard for you to verify the truth, or if it's hard for you to get the truth, then there's a high possibility that you wouldn't trust any data you see online, which is going to cause a lot of problems. So how do we mitigate this threat? This more centered on professionals. So we have to enforce strong AI safety standards. When you are building any app that will use AI, there are some standards out there you'd have to follow. Now make sure that you are using AI the right ways. Make sure that the AI models or the AI service you are using follows the data protection rules, the HIPAA, the GDPR standards. Just make sure that you're following the various standards that are set out there to use AI, and try as much as possible to update your AI services as early as possible when the providers also update their services, because when they see these issues, when they see these errors, they see these problems, they try to fix them and then give you a new version to you. So try as much as possible, if you are a service provider who depends on AI, to safeguard your AI and then follow the standards. Then you have to do red teaming and continuous monitoring. For the ones who are building the AI models and for the ones who are using the AI models, you should consistently be testing them, try to jailbreak them, try to go through them, try to do the data poisoning and stuff, just to know how the AI models will react to the kind of information that the users are giving to it, and then find ways and means of mitigating those issues. You have to try and use secure data model pipelines. Whenever you are trying to work with sensitive data from people, you can try to mask them, you can hash them. There are ways and means you can hide the sensitive data, but still give the user the response they need. You can also try to alert the users that in this instance, you don't have to give us sensitive information because it's likely going to go into the data models, which could be exposed. So you can also try as much as possible to show that to the users. And then whenever you are developing, as I said, follow the standards, follow the governance policies, data protection laws, and all. And it won't solve all the problems, but it will reduce the rate at which AI will be a problem or a threat to your business and to the end users. Now, how do we protect ourselves as the end users, the ones using the AI system? So first of all, you have to verify content before you trust them. This is very crucial. It's very tough because of how the content out there is bloated with AI content. But try as much as possible to verify content. You can ask colleagues. There are tools out there that help you detect AI stuff. There are also videos out there that help you detect stuff or content that are created by AI. So you can also watch them or read them so that you're able to identify some of the AI patterns. Try as much as possible to use strong passwords and don't use the same password across your account. If you think remembering password will be a problem for you, you can use password managers. We have the Google password, we have the Proton password, we have OnePass, GetGarden, and what have you. Try as much as possible to enable two-factor authentication. It could be the SMS, it could be the authenticator app, it could be a pass key, it could even be a physical device that you can use to authenticate yourself whenever you're trying to use a system or a service. Be cautious of AI-generated messages. There's a common trend, or there's a common trend? Yeah, trend in AI messages. They call it the M dash. You see that there's a very long hyphen. When you see those kind of hyphen, it's very likely it's AI. So that's one I can think of it. But as I said, there are blogs out there, there are videos out there you can watch and read to be able to help you identify AI-generated messages. Try as much as possible to keep your apps up to date. You try to download the security updates, try to download app updates and what have you, so that your app can be safe. Limit what you share online. This is very crucial because somebody can impersonate you by just going to your profile, take some pictures you have posted, take some videos you have posted, and they can just feed that to AI, and AI will generate a very real image or video of you doing something, and that can be used against you. I saw one post on LinkedIn. Some of these things I want to bring them here, but because of copyright issues, I can't do that. So for the ones I have the links, I'll share. The ones I don't, you would have to go and search for some. The guy posted something on LinkedIn, and the picture was of him, Elon Musk, Mark Zuckerberg, the boss of NVIDIA, and I think Alibaba. The picture was very real. I had to look at it several times. The first one was like a selfie with them on the Tesla parking spots. And then one of the pictures was with him like explaining something to them, this big tech man, and they were actually listening to him. And the image was flawless. Like I had to look at the image several times before I noticed one or two things which were slightly off. Some small things were off. That's what gave it away. But I'm sure anybody will see this and believe that he was with them. You get it? And that's how good AI has become. So that's as much as possible to reduce the kind of stuff you post online. When you are posting stuff to, let's say, some of our colleagues graduated yesterday, when you are posting stuff like maybe your certificate, there's some certain information on this stuff. You can either mask them or redact them, or better still, just don't post them. You get it? Just don't post them. The ones which are meant to be public, you can share them. The ones that are not meant to be public, don't share them. Your work ID card, there's no point in sharing it out. Your credit card, some of us like to flex and stuff, so like to show off. Some of these things have sensitive information. Even the person getting a single number or just two numbers, it's enough for them to work something out. Any little information anybody can get of you online can be used against him. So we should be very intentional about some of the stuff we post. We can also try and use privacy settings. All the services that we use, Facebook, Google, WhatsApp, and what have you, they have some privacy settings that are there. You can try and set them the way you want, depending on how you want your data to be used. Though some of them, they are just gimmicks, if I should say. It's best you enable these things so that when you have a court case, you can say that you did the right thing, but the company or the service didn't do it the right way for you. Then try to install trusted security tools like antiviruses, VPN, and what have you. Learn to spot manipulated media, as I said. Try as much as possible to learn how to detect some of these things, how to detect AI messages, and it will help you. Then try as much as possible to report suspicious activities. Now, the Cybersecurity Organization, Cybersecurity Association, CSA of Ghana, they have created several portals. I think they have a WhatsApp number, they have a toll-free number, and I think a USSD code as well that you can use to report suspicious activity. So any activity that you find suspicious, try as much as possible to report it to them. They may not respond to you immediately, but they do their best to work on maybe creating policies or trying to contact the people who provide the services and try to find a middle ground to resolve the issue. So that's it for me. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you so much, Aaron. Thank you so very much, guys. Let's show you some love. That was impressive, and I've learned so much. I believe every one of us as well has learned so much, guys. Yes, keep putting your questions down, and yeah, we at the end of the session we'll have a dedicated session where we take all the questions in the chat. And then also we'll take further questions from those who want to speak up and ask their questions in person. So no worry, you'll have all the time to ask questions and have all your questions answered. Thank you so much, Aaron. That was impressive. And yes, one thing that I am taking away from this is the fact that look, guys, no matter what, protect yourself. Don't use one password across accounts. Make sure you're using a password manager if you are worried about forgetting your passwords. And make sure that you're always careful with the AI models you use and the data that you give to the AI models, right? Okay, because even they themselves have a disclaimer at the bottom telling you that, look, any information, don't give you sensitive information. Okay, make sure you're not providing sensitive information. So those of us who carry all of our personal data and dump it inside ChatGPT for it to generate something for us means from today, okay, if we are taking nothing from this session, at least let's take that one away. Okay, after today, nobody should feed personal data into any AI model ever again. Okay, thank you so very much, Aaron. Yes, guys, now moving on, okay. We've learned about the various threats that we face, right? And we've come to terms as well with what we can do as individuals, yes, to protect ourselves. Okay, but I need to take it a step further. Okay, so moving on to the next phase of today's conversation. Okay, we need to talk about defense, right? We need to talk about defense. And when I say defense, I'm not talking about the one that Donald Trump will do if he finds our video recorded on the internet, or of Akufo-Addo when he sees us saying that there was an AI video of him dancing, right? But actual strategies, okay, that we can put in place, particularly as security professionals. Okay, and also how do we build systems that are resilient, okay, and future-proof? Okay, now to answer these questions, okay, it is my absolute pleasure, okay, to invite, yes, a man that I have admired, a man that I have had the opportunity to learn from, to collaborate with, okay, and yes, also one that always avails himself when he can, okay, despite his busy schedule, yes, to, help empower the next generation and also to share his unique and extensive knowledge. Okay, so yes, to answer these questions, I invite Mr. Tettey. Okay, he's a seasoned security engineer. Okay. Yes, joining us all the way from UK, senior security engineer at Mews, a senior security engineer actually. Yes. So let me clarify, as a senior security engineer. So please, help me welcome him with a thunderous applause. Judah, can you hear me? Yes. So guys, with a round of applause, let's welcome Judah. Awesome. 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 Okay.
Oh,
Awesome. I
yes.
like
Hello.
yes.
Yes. Yeah, thanks for having me, Mr. Roland. I'm very happy to be here and continue this session. Yeah, to introduce myself, my name is Judah. I work with a company called Mews. We provide software and security services to hotels around Europe and the US. And today I will be touching on cyber defense and the kind of tooling that you could actually use in this age of AI. Yeah, I'll quickly share my screen. But also, I want this to be as interactive as it could be. Feel free to stop me to ask questions, drop questions in the chat. Yeah. So I want this to be so like two-way. Ask me questions. I'll also throw some questions back at you. So, does that sound like a plan? Okay. Sure, sure, sure. Oh, sorry. I have to restart the app. Mac doesn't allow me to share my screen. One sec. Sure. Yeah, I'll join back in a second.
Awesome. Yeah, that's perfectly fine. So guys, yes, let's take a water break, just 30 seconds to grab some water and yes, settle down, reposition yourself, maybe pen down some questions that you have for Mr. Aaron. And yeah, while we wait for Mr. Judah to reconnect and come in with yeah, strategies, you know, ideas, and like he said, okay, answers to our questions as we make the whole session interactive and as we put across our thoughts and our questions in the chat. So 30 seconds, everyone. Oh, yes, I see a funny comment in the chat. Windows 1, Mac OS 0. Yeah, that's a trigger the Mac users. Okay. I think Judah is back. So, yeah, anytime you're ready, take it away.
Oh, yes. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me?
Yes, 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 we can hear you.
Okay, okay, okay. Okay, cool. Let's try again. Hope this time works. Sure. Yeah, it's not having it. Okay, let's try again. Share. Yeah, sorry. For some reason I'm not able to share my screen. Um, I'm not sure what's happening. Bear with me.
Hey guys, yes, so Judo will be joining us soon. In the meantime, Mr. Aaron, if you can hear me, maybe we can take a few questions. If there are any questions for you, we can take those questions while we wait for yes, Judah to join us and to settle. So guys, Aaron, can you hear me? Okay, Judah is back. Awesome. Um, no, we cannot. Give me a second to do that.
Can you hear me now?
Awesome, yes.
Yes. Sorry about that. Mac 0, Windows 1. Okay, fair enough. Can you see my screen? Is my screen visible now, or is it not? Sorry? Oh, okay, you can see it. Okay, so we're looking at AI-powered cyber defense strategies and tools. I initially did a quick intro of myself. Okay, yes, okay. So my slides are not as nice as those other guys that came on earlier on. I had to do this last minute, so yeah, apologies. So we've had a lot of shall I say, um, informative discussion earlier on around AI usage, but this will be targeted towards the defense strategies. And so if we look at it from this point of view, AI has two things. It gives opportunity and at the same time it presents a lot of risk. Who could tell me some of the opportunities that we derive from AI? Yeah, we need to make this very discussive. So please feel free to unmute yourself and let's discuss this. Yes, and no one wants to talk then. So yeah, so some of opportunities that present they are
Hello.
currently okay, go on.
Yeah, so we use AI in cybersecurity to create phishing detection and prevention systems. Then we have the record keeping aspects, then SOC analysis. So these are some of the benefits we derive from here, and also for research as well.
Okay.
Yeah, so
Anything at all about how AI is helping shape threat detection? Okay, no one's talking. So with threat detection, within the new toolings that are being created recently, a lot of them leverage AI in the sense of having, should I say, some patterns of security elements in them. So within security, we do have something called regex patterns or string patterns, where we isolate network traffic, and then based on that, we are able to regex or create a string pattern to block certain malicious activities. So that is one of the things that the tooling is incorporated with. And if we talk about risk, a lot of risk comes into using AI. Some of these things are heavily on compliance, such as GDPR, where people put in their personal data. And we all know the risk that comes with these information. So if we have a breach, for instance, with things like prompt injection, someone can put in a particular string into, let's say, ChatGPT, and then they can get all the information that you fed it. So those are some of the risks that comes with AI. And also on the good side, looking at red teaming, attacks can be very faster in the sense of pen testing. But also on the attacker side, they are able to compromise a company or an email or whatever within a few minutes, as opposed to hours in the past. So the goal for this talk is to help you to build more intelligent and future-proof defenses. There's been a lot of talk around shifting left, and that literally means within the software development lifecycle, you need to have security as your core or one of the core things whilst you build your software or your programs. You need to have developers develop a sense of security, so you don't have to wait till the end of your development to consider security, and that is a very bad thing to do. So in order to shift from that reactive to a more proactive or predictive security is to use things like behavioral analysis, which is very predictive. In the past, a lot of antivirus and other tooling used signatures, which is based on some characteristics defined within a malware. But with AI evolving so much, this can be done on a very predictive basis. Also, things like user behavior analytics is also really important. Also, AI is able to help you identify threats early, especially zero-day threats. Anyone doesn't have any idea what a zero-day threat or exploit is? Anyone? Okay. So these are essentially
Hello.
yeah, hello. Yeah.
So being a zero-day threat is an attack that hasn't been discovered yet, and it is not expected to happen. So it's not like an exploitation that happens of vulnerability that hasn't been detected.
Okay. Yeah. So usually with things like this, your usual antivirus wouldn't detect these zero-day threats or exploits just because it's not been confirmed by the, should I say, the vendor. So what antivirus vendors do is they update their signatures on a regular basis. So because of this, there's with AI incorporated now, so there are things like Claude, which a lot of developers use during their software development lifecycle. So with things like that, they are able to track things like NPM, supply chain attacks. So whilst you code them, it tells you, okay, this library is susceptible to this NPM attack or a supply chain attack. So these are things that AI allows us to do right from the onset of developing a tool or a software. So yeah, I touched on this briefly for the in the previous slide. We'll be looking at threat detection using AI. So AI is able to learn the behavior of users or for it could be for devices. So user behavior analytics doesn't necessarily focus on a particular user, but then it goes all the way into your cloud, posture management, everything to do with how a behavior is to be defined. AI is able to do that. It learns that behavior and then it creates a baseline. Based on those baseline, if there's a deviation, it alerts you that, okay, there's something wrong here. You need to have a look or have confirmation. AI is not taking over entirely. You need to have some form of human element in there to, shall I say, help you to make your detections better. So you train that data. And there's also real-time anomaly detection. A lot of tools are near real time, which means there's some latency of about maybe 10 to 50 seconds. And I know it's a short time, but that is a long time within security if there's a breach about to happen. If it's real time, detection is done instantly. And looking at zero-day identification, we spoke about that briefly as well. Some of the tools that could help with this are Darktrace. We've got Splunk, Cortex, and Wiz. Has anyone heard of or used any of these tools before? Okay. So Wiz is mostly used for cloud security, all things containers, Kubernetes, runtime events. Wiz is able to capture all of those in real time. And Cortex is more of a SOAR solution, so that's more of automation within the SOC to build analyzers and responders. And then Splunk used for querying your searches. Within Splunk, you can build a machine learning module to train your data sets, to create deviation, to detect deviations within your baseline. And Darktrace is more around the networking side of things. So if there's an incoming connection that trace hasn't seen before, yeah, it looks at the pattern. Okay, what is the user trying to do? Where's the country they're trying to access from? Things like that. So sometimes a collection of tools come together and then all centralized within Splunk to do some correlation. And then from there, you're able to have some feedback. Looking at AI-driven SOC operations, some of the things that AI helps to do is reduce noise within your SOC. A lot of places have created some AI agents or bot to act as the first line of defense. So Analyst comes in, the initial triage is done via, let's say, an AI bot to say, okay, well, what a human would do will be maybe go to VirusTotal to confirm if a hash or an IP is malicious, and then from there create some sort of like prioritization between P1 to P5 or from low to critical. And then, so that alone can take about a good 15 minutes within SOC operations to do just these two. But using AI, noise reduction is reduced by about at least 70%. Prioritization is done automatically based off what it knows about what you have in your environment. And then with the automated correlation, like I mentioned before, there are different log sources. You can have maybe things from your Active Directory, from your cloud logs. So different things come together, and then it's able to confirm if a user actually took action within X environment or Y environment, which ends up making your SOC very proactive. You don't need to go back and reactively, look or hunt for threats. AI helps you to do all of this in a matter of minutes. So a lot of companies are moving towards the AI agents being their level 1. And then within level 2 and 3, you have analysts and engineers there that confirm if these things are actually true. So AI is not all that, but then at least it helps to augment the work you do and reduce a lot of false positives. Within the SOC, we do have instant response from detection phase all the way to lesson length. So within containment, so I think there's about 5 to 7 different instant response phases. It depends on which policy or which policy you look at. NIST framework has about 5 or 6 instant response phases. So within the containment phase, you need to isolate devices that are compromised from a network to avoid the spread of malware or threats within the environment. And AI, I wouldn't say AI specifically, but building workflows with AI incorporated in can help you to do auto isolation. Although that's not always a good practice because it might be a false positive and you might take down a server if that happens. So there's always a case of having confirmation with this auto isolation. And with ransomware rollback, I've seen a few instances where there's been early indications of a ransomware attack coming in. Encryption started and then got about 10%. But within the tool, so I think this tool was Microsoft Defender for endpoint. It was able to detect that a device or a server was being encrypted, and then it started doing a rollback process, and then alerted us, and then we just put in a block. So these are things that AI can help within your incident response processes. And then there are forensics where you wouldn't need an expert within your team to conduct forensics. So digital forensics include things like RAM brutality, where you are able to analyze the content of a RAM. So there are times where a device might have been turned off when an incident has happened, which is shouldn't be the case. So with that, you can take the RAM out and do some data extraction, and there are special tools that you can use for that. So this is a very interesting part of SOC, but it's still an upcoming thing. It's still growing. So AI is able to analyze a lot of these things, digital forensics within a contained environment. So some of the key AI tools that I think will be very helpful. Or you can also do some research around this dark trace. A lot of these things you can have a free trial, or you can build your own lab and then have containers, and then you can have these for free to test out your home network, or you can even use your hotspot to see the kind of traffic that comes in and out of that. So that trace I mentioned before is heavy on network security. CrowdStrike is really good on endpoint security. So when I say endpoints, you're looking at devices and users. And then they also specialize in cloud security, where you look at things like AWS native tooling or Azure, anything to do with cloud, they specialize there. And then within a same module, they do have a lot of machine learning detections, and two of the common ones are Splunk and Elastic. Those are the two big players in the game. And then on the side, we have other tools like N8N, which I'm a big fan of. I have a free version I've deployed in the container, and then Times and Claude. So what does the future of AI look like? We'll look at attack versus defense. I think attacks are going to be very more complicated because what AI or what a lot of machine learning modules do is they learn from a lot of different sources. So there's one called, I think, Pentest GPT, where they specialize in pen test based on AI. Just add a command. I have this IP 10 dot whatever. I need you to see if it's vulnerable to maybe you can use any example of a vulnerability, like I think there was one called Bluesmith, where you can compromise a device easily if it was connection. Okay, yeah. So yeah, it makes compromising devices very easy. So that is what the future of AI looks like. At the same time, for defense, you cannot put fire out without water. So you need something on the side to help you to tackle these attacks. The defense side is not too good. It's still a work in progress. It's still being built out. But because there's a lot more support or a lot more community around attacks, people put a lot more effort or specialize in attacking side of things. But with tools like Wiz coming up, they built a strong community around cyber defense. So it's going to get better, but currently it's not as good as the attacks we have, the attack patterns we have. So to conclude, to have a very resilient security, AI cannot do it all alone. You always need a human to add some elements to it to confirm, and also to transform defenses. You need to learn how to build workflows. Within SOC, SOC is moving from analyst to engineering, and you need to be able to build workflows. You need to be able to build detections. You need to be able to do some amount of engineering. So yeah. Yeah, so I guess this is it for me. Does anyone have any questions for me?
I don't think there's a question, but there's definitely a suggestion. Someone is asking AI not to take our jobs. So yeah, there's definitely a suggestion. I don't know what you're going to say about that.
AI, Well, it will definitely take some jobs, not all the jobs. So like I said before, like level one security is at risk for entry level. So that is very disturbing. People in entry level or coming into entry level security will really struggle. There's a lot of companies putting in money to build that level one for AI to do and then escalate to a level two, if anything. So yeah, some jobs are at risk, but I wouldn't say immediately. It'll probably take another few years for that to materialize.
Awesome. I think Yul has their hand up. So Yul, let's hear from you.
Hello.
Hello.
Yes. My question is on incident response. Since you stressed a point that AI too can also do the same, it does incident response whereby you said it isolates the devices from the network in the event of a security breach. So I would like to understand the role of a cybersecurity incident response team in an organization. Is it still even necessary to have an AI-driven system?
Okay. Let me check on that quickly.
Yeah, sorry. I think for some reason I'm not able to unmute myself. You were breaking up when you were asking your question. Could you please repeat yourself again? Yo.
Okay. Okay, so yeah, I think please put it in the chat. I'll read it out. I think she might be having some network issues. So let's hear from Samuel. Samuel, you have a question.
Yeah, hello everyone. Good evening. So my question is in relation to the last statement made by Judah, where he said that due to AI, most of entry-level positions are possibly going to be at risk. So I just want to find out, in your view and based on your expertise, what advice do you give to those entry-level individuals? Because if at the entry level they are at risk, how are they going to progress, or how are they going to find their way in their career? I don't know if it's clear.
Yeah, that's a very good question. So I think with entry level positions, so mostly for analyst role. So there are a lot of security analysts for level one. What I advise you to do is try and get conversant with the engineering part of security, the SOC engineers, and for me personally, I think level one security is, should I say, not to put anyone down, but a bit useless because a lot of the things they are doing is very repetitive. So what you do is, okay, you have should I say, a run book. You go today, okay, you need to investigate this, and you already have the steps written down. Okay, I need to check this IP. I need to do this. I need to do that. I need to do that. But when you're an engineer, you build things. You look at a problem like, okay, well, I need to think of it this way. So the engineering part of it is still very a lucrative field, but when it comes to analyst, it's very much a risk. Does that answer your question? Okay.
I think you put it in the chat. Yes, it does. Okay, awesome. Yes, guys. So more questions will come in during the at the tail end of our discussion. For now, please join me with yes, a round of applause, please. Let's give it up for Mr. Judah. This has been. Once again, I grabbed my pen and paper. As I usually do, because there's always so much to learn. There's always so much to pick from. Yes, it's incredible experience. So thank you so much, Judah. And we'll still have him here. So if you have questions, don't worry. We'll still have him here for our for the next phase of our discussion today. Okay. Now, yes, talking about the next phase of our discussion today, it is my absolute pleasure to welcome a man that I have studied with, I have worked with, I've started businesses with, and a man that has such incredible knowledge and incredible expertise and incredible experience. Anytime he speaks, you know that he's not just spewing out information, but he thinks deeply. There are times where he won't talk. He doesn't like to talk much. There are times where he won't talk. When he's not talking, you know that look, he's reasoning deeply, and anytime he speaks, there's something to pick out of. My very good friend, my brother. Okay, I call him more times than I call my real siblings. And yes, Mr. Pascal Amuji Tamaklo. Please join me. So Mr. Pascal Amuji Tamaklo will be the first person to join us for our panel discussion, where we'll go through a few of the frequently asked questions, a few of the questions that you guys have sent in advance. And just discuss some of these questions. He's an application security engineer and a software quality assurance expert who has extensive experience. Anything software testing, anything application security, Pascal is your man. So please welcome Pascal. Hello, Pascal.
Thank you.
Now, before we even invite the others, I just have one question for you. How have we been able to marry software testing and security? And how did this? And just give us your thoughts on all of that.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Roland, for this presentation introduction. Really excited to be here, and thanks to all the speakers. Very, very great information given out. I've jotted some few things down and learned some few things. If you are not into cybersecurity, or you are not into IT and you're on this call, I say kudos to you, and I hope you learned a lot out of this. To answer your question, I have been an advocate of application security as part of software quality assurance, because if you look at our dispensation in terms of tech, most of enterprises have applications, and then applications are mostly what's out there. These days it's very difficult to walk into a bank and then steal or rob the bank financial information. So I've been an advocate of application security as part of quality assurance, and I'm very happy to see how Cyber is introducing an application security as well. This is as a course training program. This will help, and then I've been marrying the two. It's something I've been advocating for some few years now.
Awesome, Pascal. Yes. So, like I said, he's done, but then so much to unpack from the little that he said. Yes. So, welcome, Pascal. Now, joining Pascal, okay. Yes, for our discussion, once again, welcome Mr. Judah Tettey. Okay, he needs no introduction. You guys have heard from him, and Mr. Roland or Djaba. They will all join us as we discuss some frequently asked questions about this domain. We'll also take questions from you after that. And yes, so guys, can you join us? And finally, okay, it is my absolute pleasure to call on Mr. Paul Obeng Mensah. Mr. Paul Obeng Mensah. He's how do I even describe him? Okay, he's an innovator. He is an inventor. Yes, a techpreneur. And he is also a man of few words who has navigated the whole terrain from software development all the way through cybersecurity, through to blockchain. And there's so much he does that I cannot really describe it. Mr. Paul, if you're here, let us hear from you. Mr. Paul? Okay, I think he may have dropped off briefly. So when we have the chance, we will bring him back on board. We'll begin our discussion. And then, yes, when he joins us, we will add him, we'll include him in our discussion. Okay. Pascal is already getting acknowledged, the man of few words. Yes. Okay, guys. Yes. So now before we begin, okay, we've discussed, a lot of AI-enabled attack vectors. Mr. Aaron took us through a whole journey, okay, of AI-enabled attack vectors, all the attacks that are being influenced and are being evolved by AI. Okay, but yes, lots of information overload. But what I want to know now is, from all of these, which AI-enabled attack vector really worries you the most going forward? And since, Aaron, you were the one who gave that presentation, I'll throw this question to you. Out of all that you've discussed, okay, we saw the deepfake, we saw the poop and all of that, and then we came all the way to the model-based attacks, model poisoning, and a whole lot. Which of these do you think worries you the most? And it's something that everyone from here should take away and really try and practicalize and be aware of or be aware of.
Okay, so that's an interesting question. My main worry is the deepfake. Okay, what we call the reverse cybersecurity guys. There's a tool that has been made for them, which helps them impersonate someone. When they have the picture, they can either wear the picture of the person. So the body, they can have maybe a lady with similar body size and then have the face being put on it. And when they move their face and talk, it will seem like the image of the person is talking. That is very scary because a lot of people are falling for it. No be juju. It's just tech. It's just tech. So that is very scary. And the voice cloning, that's also scary. Those two, deep fake of the visuals, that's the image generation, video generation, live video. We use that in somebody's talking about Kantanka AI. We use that in a demo. We had a conference with Telecom, Duchess Telecom, Germany, and we were trying to explain the current state of cyber threats and all. So we had one of our team members join in, and we put the face of, first we used John Dumelo's face. The face worked fine. The only thing that maybe showing off was the form. It doesn't have the form of John Dumelo. And we tried the face, I think, of the Cameroonian military president, the one who just came in, Traore, Ibrahim Traore. Yeah. Also used him. Like, apart from the body, the face is very convincing. And that is very scary because it's hard to tell. If you can get the voice right, you can get the face right, I don't know what you can do.
Yeah. Awesome. Yes, I believe I agree with you. I don't know if Pascal shares similar sentiments or if he feels that like other attacks might be something to look out for more than perhaps deepfakes and yeah, really. Pascal, what do you think?
I think Aaron is absolutely right. Deepfake, disinformation is kind of scary because recently I read from the news there was a deepfake video about Indian Army general who, I mean, the fake video talks about the Indian Army general, I mean, about 2028 trying to reduce, saying that he will reduce the number of non-Hindu um, in the army. And that was kind of a fake, that's a fake video, but if you if you see the implication of such video going viral, it's kind of scary. And also, if you read cybersecurity news, you realize that last year there was a $25 million issue in Hong Kong, and that was about a CFO that transfer such an amount because they had a meeting and everyone on the meeting was kind of deepfake video conference and he was the only human in there, right? You read that from a Hong Kong financial report. If you type it in Google, you read a lot about that, and it is scary, right? Because you kind of don't know what is right and what is not right, what is true and what is not true at that moment. So I mean, deepfake, you're right, deepfake quite scary. Add, Adding to that, I think what AI is doing to social engineering is also very, very, very scary because if you look at what we've trained people to use to identify what social engineering phishing emails look like, we usually use things like spelling mistakes and grammatical errors. AI doesn't make spelling mistakes, right? So if it kind of it is difficult to kind of identify that AI. So we need to upgrade our knowledge and consider things like appeal to authority, appeal to emotional empathy, and all those things. Those are things that we should train people on to look at. So what the kind of phishing emails and messages that are sent out by AI is really, 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 they are really convincing. I mean, you can read them and you feel like is really true. You should take the action, and then by the time you take the action, you're already. I mean, by the time you get the email, you are hacked. But if you click on it, you are really, really hacked, right? Because of the psychological implication.
Awesome. Yes. Amazing, perspectives. And like I said, if you listen to him carefully, he will always be dropping nuggets. Okay. I heard him say when you read cybersecurity news, okay, he just put across the website that you guys should always visit and always catch up on cybersecurity, cybersecuritynews.com. Okay, go there every day, read. There are always more nuggets to pick out from everything he says. And yes, his perspectives as well aligned with that of Aaron. But let me go to Judah and see. Judah, you agree? Do you have similar sentiments? Or in your experience, do you feel there are other AI-driven threats that we should prioritize, perhaps as individuals and even organizations? Yes.
Yes, yeah, I'm back now. Yeah, so recently we've seen an influx of phishing campaigns which are heavily dependent on AI, and it's so believable. So currently in my place, we do have at least about 10 to 15 requests coming in every day. We work with different hotels, and what attackers do is they replicate our website. And when they do, within the source code itself, they make reference back to the original website. So we are not sure how they're doing it, but it's very AI driven. And because it's so difficult to differentiate between what is malicious and what is not. Yeah, I think it's going to be the next big thing. I don't know if you guys know about Booking.com. So we work with companies like that, and yeah, on a daily basis, we do see AI-related phishing campaigns going out to users. But the only thing that makes it less prone to fall for us. So there's a human element where they ask you to put in your credit card details, and then whilst you put in they do have a loop that asks you to wait. So whilst you're waiting, they are in there verifying, trying to see if they can buy something,
Right.
which is not automated. So if that was automated, then yeah, but I think it's something that would happen eventually. So yeah, phishing campaigns are on the rise, and AI is not making it any easier.
Awesome. Now, this is interesting. So let's stay right there, right? Staying on the same topic, do you think that by the very nature of AI, okay, the model the information being fed to the model, okay, it being used to train and retrain the model itself, being able to learn, okay, and adapt, we think that AI generated, we'll get to a time where AI generated phishing will become maybe completely undetectable.
I think there's a possibility. There is a possibility. Even currently, it's so hard to detect unless you go into the source code of that new spawned up website. And what they're doing right now is they are using Google Drive as the front. So let's say you go on Google, type in maybe ebay.com. Well, just from Google, okay, just eBay. And you have at least about 6 or 7 different eBay links in there. But then if you click on, let's say, the first two, they are not the original one. And you really need to go into the source code to see, okay, well, this is ebay.com, but then it redirects in the background to another website where they used to harvest credentials and accounts. So yeah, I think maybe probably this year, end of this year, or even next year, these things will be very undetectable. Yeah, I think it's a big possibility. But
Okay, yeah.
also there are tools out there that can detect them. But yes, search engine optimization poison. Yes, that's it. So yeah, it's very possible. Yeah, let's see. They might find a way around it. They might not, but yeah, let's be hopeful.
Okay. Aaron, similar sentiments. Do you think that we'll get to a point where, you know, totally undetectable by at least our current means of detection?
I think it depends on the time. We may not even read our emails. AI will be reading it for us. So I guess AI will be hacking AI, or AI will be fishing AI. Whichever one it is, it will be for them to banter over. But yes, it's very likely. It's very likely it's going to be undetectable. Because I think there's a rising case in Ghana here where they are catching a lot of beautiful people scamming users with like they mimic this food joints like Pizza Man, Chicken Man, KFC and stuff. They create website. I'm still not sure I'm not sure how they do that. I'm trying to figure out how that happens because I know there's both food, I know there's Uber Eats and what have you. So I don't know where they go to get scammed. So when I figure it out, maybe I'll write a blog about it because it's very upset. But yes, it's very likely it's going to be undetectable. Very, very likely.
Great. All right. Let's go. Your thoughts?
All right, thanks. I also think it's going to be challenging to at a point in time. But for now, if you look at how phishing works, especially when you take the phishing messages, there are some part of it that, as I mentioned earlier, AI is not going to leave trail on. But there are some part, for example, urgency. You can, if AI write it, even if AI write, you can see the urgency in it. You can also see appeal to authority or appeal to your emotional sensibility in there. So those are things that are difficult for AI to kind of change, but um, it will get to a point where it will be really, really difficult, as Judah mentioned, it will be really difficult to detect. And from Judah's presentation, I think one of the last slides, he mentioned AI versus AI. So I think that will be the point where we will have to heavily rely on AI to be able to detect someone is stuff the way he communicates, because it will be difficult for us human beings to kind of decipher um, uh, in those phishing messages. So that's it. In the long time, it will be difficult. But for now, we have the chance of still having those characteristics of phishing that we can rely on to identify them. You just have to learn them, that's all.
Okay, all right. Awesome. I would ask that we shift perspective a little at this point and, move on to, yeah, let's dive into the organizational setting right now. One of the sentiments raised by some of the questions posed earlier had to do with AI and human analysts, right? AI replacing human analysts. Judah tackled that question, but I would say, what advice would he give to organizations, right, on how best they can balance perhaps AI automation with human analysts? Okay, what's the best way? Maybe they can, structure their systems such that they have human analysts, perhaps, yes, still there, still doing what they have to do, and, whilst also making sure that they're getting the best value they can get from, yeah, the benefits that AI presents in terms of automation and faster response and all of that, all of the good stuff that he spoke about.
Yes, so it's a tricky one because when it comes to organizations, they differ from place to place. And I think what you can do for yourself is upskill, just like anything. So let's say about 5 years ago or maybe 3 years ago, we didn't have AI and we didn't even have AI engineers, but now we have AI engineers. So it's something that you have to take upon yourself to upskill. If you want to move with the world, you need to, constantly chase what is happening. It can be certifications, it can be self-development. Those are like things that you need to focus on. Within security operations itself, yeah, I think the analyst role is slowly dying out, at least in this part of the world. And you need to constantly, because I was an analyst about maybe 2 years ago, and within the space of 2 years, I took on myself to try and leave that analyst mindset to actually try and build tools. So once you start building tools, you can be considered as an engineer. And that is one of the valuable things you can ever do for yourself. You need to constantly try and upskill. So when a company sees a value in someone that can use AI to augment their work, but not rely on AI, that's where you win. So it's more about augmentation. You need to leverage AI to make your work easier, not let it do your work for you. So yeah, that's what a lot of companies are looking out for. My company, for instance, we do encourage the use of AI, but then there's a hard stop where you let AI do your job for you and where you let AI help you to do your job. And when I say help you to do your job, take it for instance, you're building an automation workflow to let's say auto remediate an issue. So you have certain indicators of compromise, IPs, hashes, etc. You build a workflow and then you say, okay, I'm creating a loop. If this happens, then remediate or maybe just contain this particular instance. So with things like this, that is where AI is helping you, and you are not AI do your work entirely for you, just because you are building that workflow. So yeah, like I said, it depends on the company. Some companies will allow you to not even use AI at all. Others will ask you to help you to do your work. So yeah, I think in my case, that's how it works.
Awesome. Awesome. Yeah, that's some great perspectives. Aaron, what do you have for us?
Most of the stuff also very repetition of what Peter said. Upscaling is very, very, very necessary. And also, if the company has the capacity, they can build or they can leverage on existing models and customize them for their use case. Whereas our company, we have custom models for certain things we do in-house, and that's what we use in-house, and it's very helpful. So that way, that kind of data poisoning and other kind of AI threats that's more related to the models, you are kind of above that because you have created a custom model out of the existing ones to suit your needs, and it's only available for those who are in-house. That also works. And upskilling is very, very important. Users should have learned how to use AI the right way and how to protect themselves from the threats. And the cybersecurity expert is also supposed to learn how to detect the threats and how to mitigate them. So that's pretty much it.
Okay. Pascal, let's hear from you.
Okay, thank you. I think I also agree with Judah and Aaron on upskilling. Very, very important. But I also encourage organizations to also, humans, AI does the automated part of the work, can automate the repetitive tasks and get to do it very well. They can do the analysis, as Judah mentioned. But humans also have some skills that organizations can leverage on. For example, planning, strategic thinking. For example, AI, we can tell AI what to do, and AI will do it very, very well. But also, human beings know what needs to be done, right? So we can leverage on our strengths. We don't necessarily have to think as like AI is going to take our jobs, but AI is going to free us so as we can do what we need, what we do best, like thinking, like strategizing, how to put in place policies and controls to be able to secure your organizations or your business. Those are things that you can leverage on human beings to work on. So it's going to take jobs that will free us time to be able to do bigger things, right? So that's how I think about it, in addition to upskilling as well.
So nice. Pascal has an advice for organizations. Okay, the human intellect, the human ability is something that you can never do away with. AI can be good for some simple, repetitive tasks, but yeah, the human oversight, the human intelligence is always something that you would perhaps require in your systems. I have a question for Judah. This one is exclusively yours. You mentioned a number of tools. We have some organizations with us. I'm sure they'll be willing to explore at least some defensive tools that they can start working with and start, yes. So what tools can they actually leverage upon? Yeah, probably very affordable tools and the ones that would give them a very good return on investment. So yeah, for our small companies, what are some of the defensive tools from what you mentioned that they can start looking at?
Yeah, so there are a few open source tools. So when it comes to SIEM, with the likes of Splunk, Elastic, they're really expensive. But then you can have things like Graylog, which is open sourced. I'll just type it here. Graylog. Yeah, it's open source. You can spin up your own virtual machine, install it on there. And you can also test out by sending wherever traffic from your router straight in there. End-to-end is another one. The free version is you have unlimited use. You could create your own workflows. Within that, you can add things like Alien Vault or Virus Total Enterprise, which is very cheap. I think it's based off the number of consecutive runs you do. So that is on the cheaper side. So when you have all these, so within that you can generate maybe API tokens and use them within those tools. So with that, you can have a very simple SOC that does a lot of these things for you automated. So you don't have to invest too much into SOC tooling. I think the only cost that would come about would be around storage and retention. But if the company is on cloud and they have their own on-premise center, that is even great. You can do your data retention within your on-premise environment. But Anytime is a very powerful tool, free, but like very powerful, one of the most powerful tools I've ever worked with. So it's all about knowing how API works, the integration, endpoints, URL, API tokens, things like that. Once you know them, how to get an endpoint address, you can literally do anything. You can automate anything within your SOC environment. So workflow automation, but specifically Anytime and Greylog. I think those are the two killer combinations you can ever have. And also, I think that's the Hive and Cortex. It's a two-in-one tool. So the Hive does case management and Cortex does your source stuff. So you can do a lot of automations in there, but you need to know a bit of Python to be able to write analyzers or responders within the tool itself. So all that provided are like open source tools that would help any corporation like massively if they are not looking to spend too much money on tooling.
Awesome. Awesome. Yes. So let me stay with you for my final round of questions before we take questions from the audience. So there's been a lot of conversation about AI regulation, whether we should regulate AI and how we should go about it. Yes, have you been involved in any of these conversations, and what are your general thoughts on the best way to move forward when it comes to AI regulation?
With AI regulation, I think it comes down to a team by team basis. I've had some conversations around this with a GRC team and some heads of department. I think ideally it comes down to what the company wants and how far they are willing to risk, or how their risk appetite is, let me put it that way. If you're a company that you think you can just mitigate risk or just let go, like it depends on the company. But in terms of policies and regulations, yeah, it needs to be a company-based decision. No two companies are the same. You need to see what works best for you within the healthcare industry because of the PHI and PII data that are surrounding them. If there's a breach, it would cause a massive, lawsuit to that healthcare organization. Within the financial industry, things like PCI, DSS. So, there are certain fines for all these things. Healthcare is a bit more because it involves a lot of human, should I say, details like, their healthcare records, their addresses, all that stuff. So there's a lot more fine on that. So, like I said, it depends on the appetite that the company has when it comes to tolerating risk. So yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. Okay, let me go to Pascal. Your thoughts, and also expanding it to the maybe national and global level. What are your thoughts on the AI regulation? the best way to carry it.
I also think in line with Judah in terms of the appetite of the business, and then also to add to that, the jurisdiction in which they are located, right? Because there are some jurisdictions that have more tougher rules when it comes to regulation than other jurisdictions. So it's very important to take into consideration the jurisdiction in which you are and the laws that apply. But there are some general ones that cut across. For example, the health one that he mentioned. I mean, patient data is really, really important. The PCI, DSS is really something in the financial space that cut across very, very important. I think we need to have, just like the way we have in cybersecurity, defense in depth, where you have layers of security measures put in place in terms of governance as well. We also regulations as well. We need that layer where within the jurisdiction there's this framework that guide how it is done, and then also outside the jurisdiction we have bodies that come together to implement frameworks, to put in place frameworks that guide also the various implementation. But at the end of the day, we also have to make it such that it does not prevent business work, right? Even though you are protecting, there's a balance to strike there between protecting user data and then also making sure business goes on. So that's how I say it.
Awesome. Aaron, your thoughts?
I missed some bits of the question, so can you go back?
Please come again. I think I missed.
I missed the question.
Oh, okay. Yes. Policy regulation when it comes to artificial intelligence on the organizational level, perhaps even on the regional and national level. What are your thoughts to, and how to carry it out?
Okay, I wanted to talk about that earlier, but well, it has come to it. So there are general standards, ISO standards. For instance, ISO 2701 and ISO 4201, or ISO 27001, ISO 42001. 27001 talks about information security standards. So organizational information security standard. They have controls for each of the things you do. That's general information security. So if you put some of these things in place, it helps mitigate some security concerns. And then we have the ISO 42001, which is mainly for AI management system. So anything you do with AI, be using it or developing AI, you would have to follow the standards. If you're able to follow the standards and certify yourself at one, there's a high possibility that you'll be able to go according to the policy, because you want to show your clients that you are on the international standard. So if organizations and nations, if I say, try to go according to these standards, it will help us all.
Awesome. I couldn't agree any less. Okay, at this point, let's go to our audience. Let's take some questions. You can please raise your hand and then I'll call you out. I already have one hand. So, Mitchell, you can go ahead if you can hear me. And once you're done, yes, we'll take the others. So, guys, can you raise your hand if you have any question at all? And then we'll take your questions and take about 5 questions and then I think we can end our session. Can you go ahead, Michael?
Yeah, good evening. So, speaking of AI tools, I've realized that they cannot usually function when humans are not behind them. So when it comes to attacks and using them for phishing links and the rest, isn't it the same humans that are in companies that are making the websites for companies that are giving the clue to these hackers to also make things? Could that be the case? Then how do we also solve this? Because everything has to start with someone giving a clue of what is happening. So if I don't have a clue of what is happening in your company, there is no way I can make something similar to what you guys are doing. Because whatever you do is in that company. So before something comes out, it has to come from someone there. That's the first question.
Okay. Let me direct this one to Aaron. Aaron, are you guys enabling the the outside? What are your thoughts on the question?
In general security, there are vectors and there are threat actors. So insider threat is an example of a threat actor. Okay, so there are situations where someone in the company can act as a threat to the company. It could be because of remorse, regret, or they are not treating the person right, or some of them come there purposely for that. I heard about something. I don't know if it's real, but and then someone who was using the software, and there was a particular issue with the software he didn't like. And he has reported several times, they didn't fix it. So he applied to the company, he got employed, he fixed the bug, and then filed to leave the company. He just came to solve the problem and leave. So if someone can do that, and someone can also come there to just disrupt something and leave. And nowadays, like interviews is something you can memorize and you could pass. People have proven that several ways. So somebody can have malicious intent, apply for a job, pass everything perfectly. When he gets a job, they'll mess things up. It's something we can't really foresee. But if you follow certain standards, like the ISO 27701, when you follow the organizational controls and stuff, depending on the level the person reaches, they may be able to have access to certain things, which will kind of mitigate some of the risk. That being said, there are still automated AI tools that can work autonomously. Just give them instructions and they'll do it. It's like most of the ones we are exposed to are based on how we search for stuff or our previous search histories and how we type the search. But there are a lot of AI tools there that can work autonomously. Most of them are very expensive to use. Most of them are expensive to use in-house because they use a lot of hardware resources. And most of the time, our normal PCs, even the custom-built PCs, cannot handle them unless server machines and all. So there are AI tools there that can work autonomously and run several attacks within a split second and can do things without human intervention. And always AI feed on information that you put out there. So if you're in the office and say, don't take a picture of your ID card to flex your friends that I've gotten a job at Google or something, that is a way of giving out clues. You got an email from Google, you got an email from Amalitech, you got an email from any company that you have been employed. Then you send a screenshot of that email, you send on LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, wherever. This information are also fed into AI, are giving threat actors some ideas to be able to do that. Last time a friend sent me a screenshot. I looked at the screenshot, I pretended the phone he was using. I mean, the model and the year. He was surprised. I was like, the information is there. You just don't know. Before, like, I've just sent a screenshot of something. I've covered the phone numbers. I've covered this and that. You think that's all? The screen size, the notifications, the icons at the top, status bar, all of them give out information. So we should be very intentional about the things we put online. Those are also other things that can help others get information of how you work inside your company and use that to plan the attacks.
Awesome. Okay. Michael, you have your hand up again. Okay, guys. So we'll take one more question after this. Let's do three. Yeah, let's do three so that everyone can grab some supper in time before the vendors close. So we'll do three more. So Michael, you can go ahead and then we take one more. Mitchell, yes, please go ahead and then we take one more question. And then
So I'm actually a photographer, and then I find most photographers talking about the use of AI to enhance images to also create certain environments. But here lies the case, AI is picking details from the things we put into it. How safe is using AI in photography? And is this something that you guys would advise or we should abstain from it? Because it makes the job easier though, but it has its own hazards. So
okay. Awesome. For this one, let me go to Judah for this, and then the last one will go to Pascal. Judah, if you're here with us.
Yes. So with things like image enhancement, I think it comes down to the kind of metadata within the picture itself. So all images have metadata, the precise location of where the photograph was taken. I think it might not be too useful, but also depends on the context. So let's say if it's someone that is being hunted by the police, for instance, within a time frame, okay, this person took a picture maybe 30 minutes ago, so we know they're in this current location. So in a good way, yes, it can help with catching criminals, but also it might not contain too much data, but at the same time, the location shares some metadata which might be useful in some aspects. Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. Okay. So yes, we have one more hand up, Abdul Bashir. We'll take our last question and then yeah. So Abdul, can you go ahead?
Yeah. I think with what Elijah asked, it also regards to this thing, like mostly when you are to do a presentation and you upload the whole project onto something like Gamma AI, then it will use the whole file to generate the AI, the presentation for you. So I don't know how safe is my data that I kept in there. Is it not going to be leaked to any other, maybe with any of the AI databases, or it's just going to be safe? Once I just, after uploading it, then it generates my presentations for me, then I delete it. Is it going to be so my question is that, is it safe in that way? Just that, I think that's just my question.
Okay, awesome. Okay, so for this one, let's take it to Pascal. Pascal, this question is yours.
Yeah. So thank you for that question. It follows right in line with the previous one. If you listen to the earlier, it is very, very frowned upon to kind of feed AI with your personal data. If you are doing a project, the data that you put into this AI shouldn't contain an information that could identify anyone or identify you or identify your business or kind of give out confidential information about your business and all that. So you have to be very, very, very careful about. It is not about giving data to the AI to work with. It's about what data you put in there, what is hidden in there. How much do you know about the data you are putting in there, right? Because as from the previous presentations, the deepfake, an image. We just need one image of you to create a video. You just need a few seconds recording of you to create a whole speech of you saying things in different languages. I mean, it doesn't have to be in English. They can make you speak different languages that you don't even have any idea about. So it's really about the data that you put in there. You have to be, once you decide to use the AI, you need to really understand the data that you are putting in there to make sure that you take off anything that could identify you, or that could identify anyone else, or that could be linked to the business that you are working with, or the company you are working with. And then we also have something we call, just as we have shadow IT, we also have something we call shadow AI, where you kind of use AI that are not approved by your organization. When you do that, I mean, you don't know, just as you mentioned, I can't sit here and tell you that the data you put into the AI could be used for a malicious intent, but so far as we are concerned, once the data contains personally identifiable information or any information that can be linked to you, I mean, those models can use it, and they can use it to give back response to others. You feed in the data. Is usually when they are training models, models don't really use data that comes with the request. But there are some models that could use data that comes with the request, and you don't know what kind of model you are, what is behind the model you are using. You don't know how it is being trained, right? So if you happen to land with an AI model that kinds of use data that comes with the request, then if you provide it with an information that is sensitive, know that anybody else that comes later and asks, how do I do this, is the model is going to use your private information and give it to that guy. So it means that your data is leaked on the internet and across. So it's more about what you're feeding into the data. Don't give anything that is associated with you, right?
So awesome. Thank you guys so very much. Right. I came into this session thinking that yes, I was knowledgeable, I knew a lot, but then I came to double what, and I learned so much. Okay, so yes, at this point, help me. Yes, with a round of applause, let's thank all of our panelists, Mr. Pascal, Mr. Judah, Mr. Aaron, and Mr. Paul. He messaged that he had a meeting to jump into, an urgent one. So yes, let's give it up for him as well. Give it up for everybody as well. Thank you guys so very much. And yes, we will be calling upon you. So please don't reject our calls. We're calling upon you anytime we need you. Okay, guys. So I hope this has been transformative for everyone, just as it has been for me. Okay, yes, AI is reshaping the cybersecurity space. Okay, and therefore, just as our panelists have said, we always need to learn, we always need to research, and as Judah said, we need to start looking at engineering, security engineering, particularly for us in the cybersecurity space, where we are building our own applications, we are building our own models. Okay, and that is why ParoCyber is even introducing a data science and machine learning program where you will learn to build your own machine learning models, okay, secure machine learning models, and all of that. Okay, we also have the application security, like Pascal mentioned, and a whole lot, right? So, guys, continue learning, whether it's with us or without us. Please keep learning, keep building, and continue growing your knowledge, okay, and defending all your assets. Okay, now, on behalf of ParoCyber, on behalf of our speakers, and on behalf of everyone, including our audience, okay, I say thank you. And yes, stay safe, stay informed, and we'll see you at our next event. Okay, bye for now, everyone.